Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we're talking about CNN host Brian Stelter, who's been making the rounds lately after he made a few questionable claims on his Twitter. Last week, Stelter seemingly had amnesia, as he had forgotten all the times he had questioned Trump's mental health. I mean, that can be the only reasonable explanation for him tweeting this. Fox News quoted a guy who claimed that I'm obsessed with claiming Trump is mentally ill and talking about Trump's removal under the 25th Amendment. So I checked. Brian has attached pictures of the guy who questioned him, and a useless pic of him searching his own tweets for the terms mentally ill and 25th Amendment. I guess Bry Guy thinks this vindicates him, but here's the thing, it really doesn't at all. First of all, everyone knows Twitter's search feature is garbage, but that's besides the point. Even if Brian had never questioned Trump's health on Twitter, he certainly did it on video. Check these clips out.
People are questioning the president's fitness. Is he suffering from some kind of illness? Is he fit for office? And if he's unfit, then what? When a president of the United States threatens North Korea by invoking the size of his nuclear button, it is fair to ask about his fitness. This past year has been full of reasons to question his fitness.
So clearly Stelter is either lying or he's losing his mind and forgot, which is ironically what he's accusing Trump of, losing his mind. Stelter also tried weaseling out of this by searching his timeline for mentally ill, instead of the phrase he actually uses, which is fitness or mental fitness. I've also got a number of email quotes here from Brian, ones he sent to the followers of his show on CNN, reliable sources. These emails also contain quotes of him questioning Trump's mental health. The first one from January 2nd saying, "We're once again confronted by questions about the president's fitness, questions about his health. It's uncomfortable, but it is incumbent on journalists to ask these questions and report the answers." More utter bullshit. And for the record, the president is mentally fit and capable. Of course he is. He's highly capable, in fact. He wouldn't have been able to win the election and have such a fantastic first year if he wasn't. And also, let's not forget what happened last time this issue cropped up. Exactly a month ago today, we did a video about this very same topic called "Liberal Attacks on Trump's Mental Health Backfire," in which I described what was going on last month when CNN and others were questioning Trump's health, which obviously backfired on them. In a nutshell, what happened was these questions from the media were answered by the official physician for the White House. And this doctor assured us that all these wild accusations of Trump being crazy or senile, they were completely unfounded. The physician even said Trump is in great health, physically and mentally. And this, of course, is why the whole thing backfired. Upon questioning Trump's health, all the left did was set the stage for him to show how healthy he really is, with his White House doctor, who is the only person who's qualified to say this. This physician is the only one that's given Trump an exam and a physical and tested his mental acuity. So this was a big win. But now that we got last week's lies from Stelter all cleared up, let's flash forward to the present, because this CNN Brian Stelter shit show has only just begun. After all this hullabaloo started to fade away, guess what Stelter dared to talk about a few days ago, a few days after this happened? He was once again questioning the president's health and fitness, only a day or two after he denied he commented on it. You really can't make this shit up. Take a look at this.
He's got tweets riddled with misspellings and profanity. I don't know, maybe down at Mar-a-Lago, maybe in person, President Trump is cool, calm, and collected. But on Twitter, he sounds deeply troubled. He sounds unhinged. This is why questions about his fitness for office are so urgent.
Yeah, pretty hypocritical, I know. But to understand what's going on here, we need to backtrack in this video a little bit. Now that we see Stelter as a liar and a hypocrite, let's dive in to see what he's lying about. This video from CNN is about Trump's tweets over the weekend, which I thought were kick-ass. He was really sticking it to the FBI and the media and CNN. Most of his tweets were having to do with the school shooting that happened last week, that horrible tragedy. And here's where Stelter claims Trump made this all about him.
These stories have come together. While these grieving students in Parkland, Florida, are asking politicians to protect them and announcing a march on Washington, the President of the United States is making it about himself. President Trump tweeting overnight, "It's very sad that the FBI missed all of the many signals sent out by the Florida school shooter."
Well, that's funny, Brian, because this tweet isn't about Trump much at all. He's simply saying how fucked up it is that the FBI missed the various warning signs that could have helped prevent this school shooting. All the while, the FBI is wasting its time investigating Russian collusion, which of course was a big nothing burger. I know it sounds like a good slam to say Trump is making this all about him, but that really doesn't work when it's not true. It's wholly untrue. In fact, it just makes you look like a biased jackass, Stelter. You've been clearly anti-Trump ever since his campaign. You're like the poster boy for anti-Trump and anti-American sentiments at CNN, you fat fuck.
They at the FBI, are spending too much time trying to prove Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. There is no collusion. It's clear the president is feeling the heat of Robert Mueller's special counsel, and he's lashing out, implying that the FBI might have failed to stop the shooting because it's too obsessed with Russia.
Yeah, if they knew what they were doing, they would drop the Russian crap and start looking into school shooting threats, like the one this shooter left on a YouTube comment, with his own real birth name no less. How the hell could they miss that?
Let's be clear. The president is insulting your intelligence.
No, Brian, you and CNN are insulting our intelligence. You've been exposed as biased, lying hacks ever since the election in 2016. You lied about the polls and said Hillary would win. You lied about the country falling apart after Trump won. CNN even lied and said questioning CNN is illegal and wrong. It's not. CNN and its fake reporters like Stelter are the real problem here. They're the ones insulting America's intelligence. I mean, back to today's issue, Brian just said he wasn't commenting on Trump's mental health, and then 2 days later he's back to doing just that. That says a lot. Now, let's be clear while we're on the subject. CNN is not a news agency. Not anymore. At least not what they used to be. The news used to be centrist, unbiased, and filled with reporters who were looking for facts and wanted to report on what they saw, read, or heard. They would report what really happened. But now, in current year, we got former news stations who have turned into lying propagandists. And the worst part is, they use their former glory and prestige to sell their current lies and slanders. That's why I think CNN should change their name or something. They're not a news network anymore, it's a propaganda station or just a commentary channel. If CNN started its channel today, it might not be so misleading either. But since they have that long history of reporting, it may look like that's what they're still doing now. But that's simply not true. We are way past the days of Walter Cronkite and Woodward and Bernstein. Good reporters are long gone from now. And even though this is the information age, all we got for news is bad information from the likes of hacks at CNN like Don Lemon and Brian fucking Stelter.
How many agents have been taken off the duty of investigating terror and domestic terror to follow these political dead ends?
Aha! So that's where President Trump got the idea. Yes, this has been a talking point from pro-Trump media ever since Friday, that there's a link between the FBI's failure and the ongoing Russia probes. Again, this is nonsensical.
I would say it's perfectly sensical. But first, if media you don't like is pro-Trump media, then does that make CNN anti-Trump media? I think it might. But back to the Russia investigation connection, being sensical, or making sense, I should say. You see, it's pretty simple. Like I said before, if the FBI spent less time investigating fake news stories about Trump and Russia collusion, then they would have more time and resources to stop school shootings. Now, I know you tried to counter that with your fancy fake facts, and you informed us of the number of people working at the FBI, 35,000, but this doesn't really change this simple correlation I explained. A correlation which many other people saw as well. And with that said, this totally makes sense, Brian. You're just saying it's nonsensical because you want your viewers to think they're crazy if they thought this and if they don't agree with you on everything. You're gaslighting your own fucking viewers, Brian. Now, more information about these tweets. These Trump tweets Stelter mentioned on reliable sources, they follow the indictments of 13 Russian nationals for trying to interfere in the election. And ever since then, Trump has been on a tear about what the Russians were trying to do between 2014 and today, as we've seen on Twitter. And what were they doing? They were trying to sow division in the United States. And Trump rightly claims that the indictments say, while the Russians tried to recruit people affiliated with campaigns into their schemes, the effort was ultimately not successful. And even former federal prosecutor Andrew C. McCarthy, he explained why the collusion story is likely dead here. Finally, since the indictment is a political document, we should evaluate its political impact at home. On balance, it is good for President Trump. The Russia election meddling scheme stretches back to years before he became a candidate. And to the extent there was Russian outreach to the Trump campaign, the indictment makes clear that the campaign acted unwittingly, meaning they didn't know. And not only does that mean there was no collusion on the face of things, it means there was almost surely no collusion at all. And with all that said, CNN's beloved Russia collusion narrative is on life support. It's basically dead. It's a vegetable. And it looks like Stelter has returned to his old standby. He's retreated to questioning Trump's fitness for office. But like we said before, Trump is not unfit for office. He is fit. He's doing great. And I'm not convinced his method of using Twitter to drive narratives is chaotic or undisciplined. Trump is, if nothing else, a master marketer. His tweets produce the exact effect he desires, driving the elites like Brian Stelter crazy. So can we really say Trump is unhinged from his tweets? If they're doing exactly what he intended them to do, then I would say the opposite. Trump's tweets are completely hinged, and he's working the system perfectly. Stelter's Sunday outburst only proves, once again, that he is not a media critic. He is not an unbiased journalist either, and he's not nonpartisan. Brian Stelter is a left-wing partisan and a cheerleader for his fellow leftist journalists. What do you guys think? Is questioning Trump's mental health backfiring for the leftists again? Is Brian Stelter simply the worst? Not only the worst journalist and TV personality, but overall just the worst person to watch and listen to. And what do you think about Trump's use of Twitter? I know a lot of people complain that he's on there too much or he's acting childish, but if Trump keeps winning and tearing apart CNN and the Brian Stelters of the world, then I say keep it up. And 7 more years of this won't be enough. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Make sure you follow my new Twitter, and until next time, have a great day, everybody.